There we go. And if you're a patron member, we're just getting up and running. This will be posted. And yep, in the back of your account, looks like we're up and going. It'll be posted in the back of your patron account. Although we're doing it video broadcast, it's not live. We just did a live one, which a lot of you were a part of. But because you're a patron member, we're still recording this, putting in the back of your patron account so you get it months before it ever episode. And of course, you can watch or you can just listen. Either way, but you'll get it months before it goes out to the regular audience. So it's kind of like the live experience while we get up and going here. You see a little bit behind the scenes, so to speak, but it won't take us too long here. Looks like we're good. Are you ready to do this, Lurch?
I was born ready, my friend.
Born ready.
Came out of the womb swinging.
All right. Want to ride longer, Lurch?
Yep.
Are you tired of a sore and achy ass?
You know it.
Then fix it with a high-quality butt buffer seat cushion.
Ooh.
Head over to lawbindingbiker.com/store. Check out our lineup of butt buffer seat cushions. Email. Ryan, I just want to say thank you for the video on routine maintenance on a Harley-Davidson. I purchased a 2016 Street Glide in July and have hit my 1,000-mile service. I was really on the fence about taking it to the Harley dealer here in Hawaii or doing it myself just due to the warranty stuff. Excellent video, accurate, love details as I have learned some stuff that I didn't know. Aloha from Hawaii, Mike Holmberg.
Aloha, Mike.
Aloha. And don't forget, we have both of those full oil change service and maintenance videos on 2014. And then that's pre-Milwaukee 8. And then we have the Milwaukee 8 and on service videos all over at lawabidingbiker.com/buy videos, where our premium videos reside. Hey, Bikeaholics, 03D has a wide variety of innovative products for your Harley-Davidson and a brand new line for the all-new Honda Goldwing named Gold Strike.
I like gold.
Top quality, affordable chrome lighting and comfort products. Zero Gold Strike are the motorcycle LED lighting innovators for CAN bus plug and play system compatibility. Head over to lawabidingbiker.com/store and check out our full line of Zero 3D products. You take this one, Lurch.
We got an email from Tom Seamuth of Iowa City, Iowa. It is on the Boom Box video tutorial. And he says, "Hey, Ryan, just want to let you know that I just started watching the first of the Boom Box tutorials you've made, and I already learned something the dealership didn't know about. I'll have to teach them. I called them to ask them if there was a way to shut down the radio or other media you might be playing. Their response was just to mute it, and that even though the radio screen would be showing this was normal. Not. I already learned, gladly. You just hold down the mute button. Literally, within the first 10 minutes of watching the first video, it's already paid off as far as I'm concerned. I'm sure I'll learn much more than the dealership doesn't know about." Is that what that said? Mm-hmm. Keep up the great work.
Yes,
You'll learn
sir.
even more that the dealership doesn't know about.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
And he sent us an email and the prior email all over at lawabidingbiker.com/contact. It's our main contact page. You can leave us an email. You can leave us a voicemail right from the built-in microphones in your computer from anywhere in the world. It's all free. We love your feedback. We love reading these things. We love hearing your voicemails. And thank you for that. And he's talking about our Boombox tutorial video series. All can be found over at lawabidingbiker.com/Harley Boom Box. We've got our main Harley Boom Box over there for 2014 to 2018. And then we've got our Boom Box GTS tutorials 2019 to present. Of course, our ride planner video, and then our Boom Box software maps and dealer locations updates. All the series is over there. And still to this day, our most popular selling videos. Oh yeah, once you've had Rick Wreck, you'll never go back. The ultimate motorcycle luggage rack solution. Forget those messy straps and bungee cords. Go strapless with a Rick Wreck quick attach luggage system and quality bag. Head over to lawabidingbiker.com/store and get hooked up now. Here we are, Lurchy. Main topic today. We've had a long day. We'll get into it. We did a stereo amp, front amp and speaker install, and oh God, what a day. It's a system name that we've never done before, and I'll leave it at that. There were some frustrations. There were some positive things, too, about this system. We're going to dive in deep and tell you all about it, some things we learned, and some things you might want to consider if you're going to purchase one of these systems. Welcome back, you freaking bikeaholics. This is the podcast for the motorcycle majority, the Big MM, also known as the
99%.
Large and in charge of the motorcycle scene more than any time in history by being here, by listening, whether you like it or not, and I know you like it. You're part of what we call the hashtag
Biker Revolution.
We do have just one question for you before we get started. What are you waiting for, bikeaholics? Mount up.
And let us take you on another wild-ass ride.
Nice. Ryan Erlacher here, your host of the Law-Abiding Biker podcast, and of course, your
high-tech redneck.
There you go. The man, the myth, the legend. Here all day, and nicely done. You know what I didn't do in the last two episodes, bro?
What did you not do, bro, Cephas?
Is I always announce new free videos that we have out. So let's go find one.
Do one.
Let me just go find
one.
Busy
at work and popping out all kinds of videos.
Dude, I know.
I'm sure you must be able to find a free video.
And I'm so busy
put out
that I'm not doing proper show notes apparently either. And forgetting to post in patron accounts. I'm losing it.
Yeah, one of those top two would be good.
Let's see. What do we got? That's a good one.
They're both freshies.
Let's do this one.
That's what I would do.
I like it. Let me just drag that up there. That way when I do the official show notes,
you'll know.
Which you're going to be doing someday.
Someday.
FYI.
One of these days.
All right, new free video. This one is definitely motorcycle related because a lot of you have asked me. I do a lot of stuff in the tech space, of course. Most of it relates to what I have to do here at Law Abiding Biker Media to make the videos and tutorials and entertainment videos and the documentaries. Anyways, for those of you that are curious at any way about drones, unmanned aerial systems, I use a lot of them here over the years. That's what this video is about. So I did a auto tracking. The name of it is Auto Tracking Motorcycles with Drones, DJI Mavic versus Skydio. And that's really what it's about. I use drones in a lot of different ways, but I wanted to very narrowly focus on some auto tracking features. I'm not going to dive in deep to this because we got plenty of episodes.
That's a podcast all in itself.
Oh God, dude. It is really, I think I have a podcast labeled that at some point. We're actually going to talk about, I don't know, I'll go back down, but
you've almost killed me at least once, maybe 3 times with the drone. I can hear it buzzing behind me, so I know you're close.
That's some good manual tracking, bro.
Yeah, buddy.
But I've been using them for a long time and a lot of experience with them. So anyways, if you're interested in that video, it will show you, again, I won't dive in deep here about my thoughts on auto tracking versus manual flying. Always manual flying is better because you're going to get the shots that you want and the framing you want. But in a pinch, a lot of these do have some auto tracking capabilities. And I'm trying to find where we are. There it is, Lurch. So I will put it in the show notes, lawabidingbikers.com/whatever episode number this is. And again, narrowly focused to auto tracking. I give a lot of my thoughts in that video too about how, auto tracking is not the best way to get shots. But that Skydio for auto tracking, I'll just give you a little hint. Pretty crazy. Impressed me. I did it on street bikes, and me and Oscar went up in the mountains around trees and did some obstacle avoidance and detection. It was amazing. Did you get to watch that yet?
You may have not yet.
Yeah. No. But very amazing. And I use a lot of DJI stuff around here too. But all right,
a lot of it.
I got it. You got to not let me go into.
That's not what this episode's about.
I can geek out on drones and my thoughts on proper cinematic shots, and I see a lot of junk. So, anyways, all righty. All righty then. We appreciate our sponsors up front, but these people also are sponsors, some of our newest beloved patrons.
We got Ernest Beck of Dauphin, PA. He is a top tier donator. Tony Ulrich of Riverview, Florida, and Ron Bridge Farmer of Gainesville, Georgia.
Moving on with Doug Holm of Littleton, Colorado, top tier. John Mulhare of Hermitage, Pennsylvania, and Kenneth Maxwell of Gallatin, Tennessee, finishing it off.
Michael Hyatt of Livermore, California, top tier. Brandon Burr of Edmonds, Washington, just in our backyard. And Juan Gomez of San Antonio, Tejas.
Lawabidingbiker.com/Patreon, Patreon is how they got signed up. That's right, pledge a certain amount per piece of content. No risk to you because you can set a monthly cap. There are benefits such as t-shirts and stickers. You can get in the private Facebook group. It's a troll-free zone. Access to this podcast months before everybody else and all our podcasts. Access to live video broadcasts and chat when we do those. Access to those ride meetup events. And of course,
10% cooler than you were before you started.
Oh, yeah. Nicely said. That's it. That's all you need to hear.
At least 10% cooler.
Access to those premium videos up on request, like the video we're going to talk about right here in this episode. How about that for a transition?
Nice work, my friend.
Because this stereo and amp install is going to be one of our 4 purchase videos over at lawabidingbiker.com/buy videos. 95% of our content is for free. We do sell a few videos for obvious reasons.
Got to keep the lights on.
We do. It costs a lot to make free stuff for everybody. And that's why we love our patrons so much. Mm-hmm.
It costs a lot to make free shit.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
I've told some people that. It actually costs to make over 500 free videos on YouTube, costs a lot of money and time. I'm not going to lie to you. And we enjoy helping, but we do have to charge for some stuff. But we put a lot of time and effort into a video and install like we did today, because we'll be going on 14 hours real soon with the film day and the podcast day. And we
show you all the steps without skipping any steps.
That's right. Step by step without skipping any steps, bro.
That's what I meant to say. Thank you for cleaning that up.
Unlike the other shitty videos we found on YouTube reference this subject, we realize how superior this video will be. And I don't mean that in an arrogant way.
Wow, you are very humble today. I appreciate that.
It just is what it is. Because we're kind of frustrated, right?
Oh, yeah.
And we see stuff like that.
That's what got us into this whole thing was looking up a video and not being able to find out what we really wanted to know. And you got a wild hair up your ass and decided to make a maintenance video, and then boom, it's gone from there.
It's true. And made that video 8 years ago about like some of the videos we saw that guys are making today still. And that's fine. They're trying, some of the guys are trying. I get it. So I say that again as I don't mean that to sound arrogant at all, but
I didn't at all. Just teasing you.
I know. We see videos like this and we're like, oh yeah, our video is going to do really well because it's a different level, and we really feel like we have the ability because we're bikers and we're working on our garage and we both have instructor backgrounds, and so we said it today. You can be the smartest person in the world, and there's a lot of smart people on YouTube, but it doesn't matter how smart you are. It doesn't mean you're a teacher. It doesn't mean you know how to instruct. Mm-hmm. If you don't know how to properly instruct and tell people in a way that is going to make them feel comfortable and learn it and absorb it and do it, then enough said. Yeah, you can't, not everybody's a good teacher. And we find that on YouTube a lot, where a guy knows a lot, but he doesn't know how to necessarily teach it, or he's just winging it all together. We found some of that too.
Sure.
Where he's not a good teacher and he don't know shit. So there's a lot of that on YouTube too.
But it's on YouTube, so it must be true.
It's got to be true. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. Some people, I saw him do it on YouTube. That you might want to fact check that just in case.
Fact check false.
Fact check false. That's right. Oh God. So we really have no show notes for this.
No,
we're coming off the film,
just like they do on YouTube.
So exactly. So the way this came about for the audience is some of our projects we've done, like our Rockford Fosgate. I digress.
Let's talk about all the ones we've done.
Why don't you do that? We've all the videos over the years that we have on our for purchase page
on audio stuff, and I will. I'll
be
wrong.
Pick it up.
All right. So we have the Harley-Davidson Stage 2 Boom Audio.
Stage 1 and 2. That video is good for a Stage 1 or 2 install.
That's right. We have the J&M Audio. We have Hog Tunes. Cycle Sounds.
Yep.
Now I know there's one more.
Rockford Fosgate. That's it.
That's it.
Yep. Hog Tunes. I'm just going to go over them again to make sure. Hog Tunes, I'm going to do them in my order. Hog Tunes, J&M, Boom Audio, Stage 1 and 2, Rockford Fosgate, and Cycle Sounds.
Yep, that's it.
And now we have Soundz Bagger's audio.
Sounds with a Z.
Soundz Baggers with a Z.
When I look it up, it sounds with a Z as well. So maybe it sounds and
Baggers maybe it is.
Z.
Let's do it.
Look it up, dude.
Well, I got a link right here. Oh. Yeah, you're right. No, you're right. It sounds with a Z, Bagger audio. I thought it was Soundz Bagger's audio.
Fact check, true.
Soundz Bagger. That's why we fact checked. That was true. True that.
Yeah.
So now we've got that video. Now it's not out yet at the time of this podcast. By the time it comes out to the regular public, it'll probably be released already. Be close. I'm hoping to have it next in the queue to get edited up. That's a big project because I still got to do the opener and oh my God, I'll get it done. But so we'll have this one on there. And so this came about because, and the Rockford Fosgate we did on somebody else's bike, a patron member.
Yep.
We talked about that in past episodes. We actually had him on no, we didn't because that's right. We ended up working too late. That's right. But yeah, we've talked about that on a podcast. Me and you followed up and talked about it. And he actually brought his bike over from the west side of the state and wanted us to do it and allowed us to film it. That's what we love about patron members and members in general. Because the gentleman today that gave us his 2015 Street Glide Special is not a patron member. He happens to be somebody that lives in my local community. And his brother is Leo, a law enforcement officer, and I know his brother. And anyways, it just worked down the pike. Now he's heard of us. He's watched our documentaries, so he knows about us on top of it. But he offered his bike up and he came to me and asked what system he should get for his motorcycle. Really humble guy, super nice guy. And I had looked at these systems, this company, and you can clean this up a little bit too, to talk over me if you want, but Soundz Bagger Audio. I say this, they're not like a mainstream company. Now, some of you may have heard of them because they have a little bit over the past years got on a few smaller YouTube channels, really small ones. They're trying to get their name out there a little bit. They've been at rallies for years. They're kind of a rally stereo system where you find them at a rally and they have good install prices. And I have heard decent things about them. Nothing bad as far as their quality and sound. So I told this gentleman, I said, listen, I think this is a good system. Now, if it hadn't been, I would have just paid for a J&M system or something to put back in his bike if it really, but I had done enough research. So I told him, I said, hey, I think you should buy this system and we'll install it for you for free if you let us film it. All you got to do is buy the system. And I helped him pick out what we wanted. And so we picked out this system and that's how this came about. And he brought his bike over and left it with us for the day. And that's what we've been working on all day. We've got some good things to say about the system. We've got a little bit critiquing things to say about the company and its lack of information and instructions. We're going to dive in a little bit deep into that. And then we'll give you our overall, once we got it hooked up and got through the debacles and the frustrations, tell you what we thought about the build quality, the sound quality, and kind of everything in between. But that should give you a good understanding of kind of the format and how we are going to go here. Now, you got something?
Well, I'll just say the first time I'm
thirsty.
Yeah, exactly. The first time I had heard about him was only because we were doing some research on what it would take to put the GTS radio into a 2014 to 2018.
Oh, the Boom Box that came out on the 2019 and newer Harleys.
Right.
So the Boom Box system, yeah, GTS.
When the GTS came out.
Retrofit, right?
Guys were trying to figure out how to retrofit it. So before Harley was selling a setup to do that, Soundz developed one. So they had a connector that would connect your older bikes to that new GTS. And that's the first time I'd heard about them.
Same here.
Yeah.
Never heard their name before. And that's kind of what caught my attention on them. Yeah. And it was quite an expensive conversion.
Yeah, it's about $450.
Yeah, $450. It was quite an expensive, and that wasn't the radio, obviously. That was just their little magic connector that made it happen. So you could retrofit your older Harley, the old boombox, to the new boombox. Of course, like we said, that all went away because Harley has that kit now, and it's cheaper anyways. to do it their way. And it's really an in-house type system conversion. So I don't know that they sell a whole bunch of those anymore because, like I say, you can go straight to Harley and do it now. And I don't always say going straight to Harley, but it was a cheaper option just to go through Harley actually now. It's not always that way. So that's how they kind of got on our meter, so to speak. I started hearing a little bit here and there. So thanks for bringing that up. Now this system compares to our other systems, I guess we can go a lot of different ways this way. I'm just going to kick back.
Do you want to get into that before we just talk about the installation and everything, or do you want to compare it to the other systems we've done?
Let's do pricing.
Okay.
And what we ordered and why we ordered what we ordered. Can you do that or you want me to?
You hit that because I know you're involved with the ordering. Okay. And while you're doing that, I'll look up some of the other systems. And get
what do we get? The iron?
We got the iron 65s.
Yeah, iron 65. So,
and then the SM 1-400, something like that.
I'll pull this up here. Yeah. Let me do this. Let's see. I'm pulling up some notes here. This is great podcast content.
Oh yeah. I'm sure the audience just loves listening to us.
When we Google. Actually, this is my Evernote that I made.
The 61s. We got the 61s.
Yeah.
So they have 4 different speakers. They've got the Soundz Street, which is a two-way coax, similar to really what...
Aren't you glad I make Evernotes?
I'm so happy that you do. Those are kind of similar to, a little closer to what the stock speakers are. The Iron 61s have a separate dome tweeter, so a true two-way. And then they have the Soundz Iron 65, which are...
true separates, right?
True separates, yeah. So the tweeter is completely separated from the woofer. And then they've got the carbon, which looks like it's a same. It looks really similar to the Iron 65s, but the looks like the woofer's made out of a carbon, and it's a little slimmer, lighter design.
And of course, price goes up.
Oh yeah.
So we got the Soundz Iron. I just picked a system for them that I thought would be solid, that wouldn't break the bank, and would be similar to the cost of the other systems that we've installed. That's kind of what I wanted to stick with. Because we were doing a video on it and I wanted to review it. Now you can choose your amp too, Lurch. And I decided for this amp, and I think it was the only one recommended for the 2-channel system that we were doing. Yes. I can't remember that for sure, but I think it is.
Yeah, well, as you go through their little selection tool and tell them you're doing front speakers and all that, that's the amp that it recommends.
And what is it?
It is the SM1, I think.
I have it on there.
-400 or 1-400.
Let me do this. Get over there, you sucker.
It's a 4-way amp or 4-channel amp, not 4-way, 4 channels. So front and rear.
Here's our actual receipt.
Hey, there you go. There it is. The SM4- or .100.
Did you read it? Okay, yeah. Yep. So it looks like, looking at our sales receipt, so the amp and the speakers together.
Yep.
Were $1,100, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. Oh, you know what I did? I got it.
Did you break them out individually?
Oh, yeah. Look what I did. I did this morning, dude.
Attaboy.
Why does that keep doing that? It's going to piss me off.
You know what really pisses me off?
What's that?
Oh.
So, yeah. So I got the total price up there. Well,
speaker, you got it right there.
I did it to $1,100, but that doesn't break out the speakers.
It does if you scroll down.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, right there.
And see,
$449 for the speakers.
Yeah, but see, that's not right.
And the amp, $700.
So 700 plus 4, 7, 8, 9, 11, that's $1,150. And we got it all for $1,100. See what I told you about this company? That's right.
You're telling me on the
when you call them,
it was cheaper when you bought it. Maybe they had some sales going or something.
No, they don't. So the way their website works, guys, which is plus and minuses to it, their website's fairly decent. And when you go to their website, you can select the amp you want and the speakers you want and all that. But then when you go to order, I ordered it for them, you don't get to check out. They say, we will call you and we will email you and we will confirm what you want, I guess. And it's got a little bit different prices because it was $50 cheaper than what I had been quoted online. So the next day, our contact with the bike here, he made a call and confirmed everything. He said it was fairly simple when he confirmed, but it was. So Yeah, so I would say, let's just say we got the amp for $700 and we got the speakers basically for $400.
Okay.
All right, so somewhere like that. So $1,100 total for that. And they confirmed all that with him, took his credit card over the phone, and you order it over the phone, kind of old school that way, once you select. But it is a good estimate tool, I'll call it, online on their website. And they asked him, and okay, I could go two ways with this, Lurch, because Lurch did some of the pre-research on this system. Let me tell you this, and then I want you to tell about your experience trying to get all the information you needed.
Sure.
So while he's on the phone, now Lurch hadn't mentioned this to me. I'm not blaming Lurch. Lurch was lead on this project as far as the research, because we always research things heavily. We make sure we know what we're doing as much as possible. We get the parts we need, that we get. You'll learn in this video, we did it for a Road Glide 2. We needed an extra amp plate. We'll get into that. We want to have everything on hand. We get one day. We all work full-time jobs. And when I get Lurch over here, we go for 14 hours, 2 podcasts, a full film day, and we don't want to be caught off guard and not know what we're doing. But Lurch had some issues trying to figure out with this company, and to have him even contact him back was a little bit sketchy. He'll get into that. But on the phone, my contact, they said, do you have a techno research scan tool? He's like,
what that?
Yeah. So he called me. He's like, bro, they're asking me, do you have a techno research scan tool? I guess it's to flash your boombox system. I'm like, nope, we do not have one of those. So basically, you've got to buy an additional, we're going to break this down and what it's for, but it's basically to flash your boombox, because Harley will only flash your boombox now if you install their own HD branded systems. Now, back in the day, we had several bikes flashed without non-HD systems, but corporate came down and said, don't do that anymore. So you're forced to use this aftermarket product, a techno research scan tool, which we'll get into, to actually hack into your boombox and flash it, so it'll work properly for the amp and speaker setup. So for that, it was $150. It's called a techno research scan tool, single license, and so we added that on. So at the end of the day, what are we looking at? $1,100 and $150, so $1,250, and then they charge him $30 for shipping. So he was at $1,280 out the door with the scan tool and everything we needed. And so that was a point of interest as far as getting the scan tool, because that was new to Lurch too. I had texted you. I think I go, oh, by the way, we're ordering a scan tool and shit. And you're like, hadn't heard of that.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your research and how difficult it was to figure out what you're doing here.
Well, it seems like they obviously sell their systems. They do them at shows, as you mentioned earlier.
Right, at shows themselves.
There's other companies that sell their product, like Fathead Cycles is another one on the East Coast that sells.
Oh, are they selling their products?
Yeah, they'll sell the Soundz stuff and they'll do it. So I'm wondering how much like sells to individuals they do. It doesn't seem like they do a lot. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think they're trying to do it more.
Maybe they're starting to get that way.
I think they're trying, which is why they've reached out to a couple of very small YouTube channels. You kind of see it, little filters here and there. Yeah. Maybe they're trying to give some of their stuff, I don't know.
It definitely seemed like something you bought at a dealer or another place, like I said, like Fathead Cycles. But I didn't even know you had to have it flashed, as there are some.
I didn't either until he called me.
Thank goodness he told us. There are some systems that we've put in that use magic boxes and whatnot, and you don't need to do any kind of flashing. So,
or J&M comes, right? In the past, we've talked about J&M comes already set. Like, it doesn't use magic boxes, but it's something in the amp, the way it's set, if I remember right. Because we did not have to have my J&M as long as your radio is flashed to stock, which is 0, then the amp does it. Everybody does it a little bit different, how they process the signals, right?
Yeah, whether you're using a line in or a high-level speaker line in, they all use different kinds of ways of doing it. But that was quite the experience today. I'm glad we figured it all out.
Yeah. So what's your experience with research and lack of this?
The website, as far as telling you what you needed, was pretty good. You could shop by bike, so you put in which bike you have and what kind of speakers you want, and tell you what you need. It wasn't really easy to navigate if you're just looking at stuff a la carte. So if you just want to look at speakers or amps separately, it was kind of hard to get into that type of stuff. And for us, we were doing an installation on a Street Glide, but we also wanted to show you how to do it on a road glide. And so we wanted to order some road glide stuff separately. And I had a hell of a time finding that on the website. So I finally had to contact the company, and didn't get any message back from their contact us little forum thing. You know, you go onto their website, hit contact us. It's got the little form that you fill out your name and your email and what you want. Never heard anything back. Called their sales and got a message that says that basically that nobody's there right now and you need to call the main store. So I called the main store. She didn't really know what to tell me and said somebody from sales will call you back. So finally, once somebody from sales got a hold of me, then it was pretty easy. Just told her what I wanted, and we got that all taken care of and got it ordered. But as far as their instructions,
before you go there,
okay,
because I don't want to dive in, because that's actually install part, right?
Yeah.
I will tell you, that sucks, because why on the website when I ordered the system, they know that you need a scan tool. It never recommended, never said jack shit about it.
You're right. As we were talking, I was just clicking through it. It doesn't say
First time we heard of it was when we called to confirm our order. And they're like, oh, do you have a Techno Research scan tool? We're like, never heard of it. And where the hell did that come from? And why wasn't that mentioned in there anywhere on their website?
Which makes sense if they're just starting to get into selling to individual purchasers that they haven't quite figured that part out. And
that's my guess.
Yeah.
I don't know that about the company, but it seems that way.
We're just telling you our experience. And there's nothing in here about a Techno Research thing at all. Yep. There is about their digital sound processor. I mean, that's an option to buy to help you fine tune the system, but nothing about the scan tool.
I know. That's why I was shocked when he called me. So I started doing some research, and I'm like, what did they tell you? And so he got an email and he forwarded me the email, and I'm like, okay, that makes no sense that we weren't told about that. Because we should have researched, we feel like we do pretty good research, and I felt kind of blindsided with that. This video that we're filmed and we're going to put out for purchase, it will be good for 2014 and newer Street Glide and Road Glide. And we got an extra amp plate and stuff like that, so we could actually show the very few differences in installing it on a Road Glide. Whatever was different, we showed, but we just used Lurch's bike today as a mock-up bike. We didn't actually install it on his bike. We installed it on the Street Glide Special, and again, just showed the difference within the shark nose fairing on the Road Glide.
I'm looking at their dealer locator on their internet site.
Yeah.
And I think one of the reasons that we hadn't heard about them yet is because they're definitely an East Coast company.
Oh, okay.
They're housed out of Florida. The main place is in Florida. And if you look at their dealer locator, they're all over the East Coast, and they're definitely moving towards the West. But they've got East, Midwest, or in South Dakota, North Dakota, down in Texas, New Mexico. But the only one that's on the West Coast is in Nevada, in Reno.
Okay.
The dealer. So I think that's a big part of why we're just learning about them.
Right. Okay, good. Glad you looked that up. So we'll get into the install a little bit and some of the things we learn. Again, none of this is meant to be talking bad about the company. It's our personal experience. And then we're going to say some actually positive things too about what we learned about their system once we got our hands on it and all that kind of stuff. So we certainly don't want it to be sound like it's one-sided. Ride longer and treat your ass with some respect already.
Yeah.
Lurch, slap that ass. Get hooked up with a premium butt buffer seat cushion. This company of bikers developed a super thin hospital-grade seat cushion made of solid and elastic materials. And it's unlike those gel pads because they'll leak if punctured. The butt buffer is designed not to slide around on your seat, fits all motorcycles, installs in seconds, easily cleans, and helps to dampen those gall-darn vibrations. With plenty of models to choose from, they assure you'll have a comfortable ass when riding. We all love a comfortable ass. Head over to Law Abiding Biker Store and check out our lineup of butt buffer seat cushions. One of our new sponsors, tried and tested months before we put those in our store during our Sturgis ride, and we're continuing to use them. So there you go. So install We get here, start early this morning. Again, our main focus is the Street Glide Special, the 15, and the Road Glide's sitting beside it and ready to go there with our amp plate. So let's talk about, do you want to go a certain direction, or do you want to talk about...
just talk about first impressions and
of the
parts?
Equipment. Yeah, let's talk that, and then we'll go into something negative again. Instructions. So, all right.
Yeah, top-notch equipment. The speakers are well-designed, big, heavy magnets on them.
I was thoroughly impressed.
Yeah.
I got them out the box the night before. I was like, all right,
There's
all right, this is
some
legit.
girth to them. Yeah.
Talk about the loom and, how they're prepped.
Yeah, the wire loom is outstanding. Everything is wrapped. It's First of all, it's plug and play, meaning that the connections all fit perfect to Harley stuff.
It's set up for CAN bus systems.
Yep. The wire is high quality wire with good shielding on it, and it's wrapped with a. It's not it's an electrical tape. It's a cloth type electrical tape, and then all the inputs and outputs are all labeled. I mean, it's
big
good.
ass fuse, mainline fuse.
One of the biggest fuses I think I've seen on any of the stuff we've installed so far.
When I got out of the box, I'm not going to lie. I'm just telling you. I'm not just saying. I was like, all right, this shit is legit. It's professional. It looks good. It's car like your top quality car stereo type shit you see that we used to put in. That's like, oh, that's the shit right there. Yeah,
it's not some tiny little chintzy amp. It's a good size quality amp, sealed, good wiring. It's good stuff. There's no doubt about it. They're not going cheap on their equipment.
Yeah, the magnets were like 50 times the size of the stock magnet on the... It actually grabbed out of my hand on the lift because it grabbed the lift. I was trying to film product shots, and I'm like, oh, shit, it just grabbed out of my hand and slammed to the... Ka-kang!
The stock Harley speakers you could set on the lift, and they didn't even stick to the lift.
That's right.
At all.
Yeah.
At all. And then you get with the magnets on those, the iron, 61s, I think they were?
Iron 61s, yeah.
Damn, they stuck right to the... right to the lift, yeah. Good quality stuff. So my first impression was good. Very, very good quality stuff.
Yep. I had Lurch take a look. We actually did a live video this morning on it, just a 10-minute video of what we were doing for the day. And we actually show the stuff. So if you want to see that before we come out with the actual professional for sale install video, if you just want to kind of see what it looks like, and we talk about it a little bit on our YouTube channel, lawabidingbiker.com/ and whatever episode this is, I'll try to pop a link in there for you. But you can, that way you kind of get a feel for what we were doing that day. But yeah, I agree. So yeah, build quality good. So we get into the install. The thing comes with no instructions.
No, you go onto their website and they've got
theoretically,
under support, you can look up all the different stuff
on the actual Soundz Bagger audio website.
Soundz Bagger, yep. You go to support tab and then you click through. They've got all kinds of different PDFs on the different things you're installing, whether it's front speakers, back speakers, amp on a Batwing or a Shark Nose, but they're pretty short.
And some of it's just not there.
And not a lot of pictures. They give you a couple of pictures, but I mean, as much as we knock on the Harley-Davidson installations, they do have a lot of pictures and diagrams that are in the installation instructions for Harley. Not a lot with sound. They had a few, but not a lot.
I'm just going to be straight with you. Out of all the different stuff we've installed here at Law Abiding Biker Media and instructions, on a scale of 1 to 10, I hate to be this critical, 3 or 4. It was horrible. And I'm just going to say that out loud. It was horrible. And we went right where they told you, get a piece of paper that says go to soundzbaggersaudio.com/support. We went there, and it's very lackluster information. It's very generic. In fact, we found some of it wrong. Like one of the amp settings was wrong and it wouldn't even work. I'm not dogging on them. It just is what it is. And we feel like we're really good at like researching. Now I'll tell you this, the night before, so last night, I open up the stuff. He drops off his bike. He gives me the stuff that we had ordered. It's the first time I've seen it. I open it up, look at it. One of the additional items is the Techno Research scan tool. I'm like, oh, cool. Never seen one of these. Be cool to have. I open up the case that it comes with. Now, the Techno Research scan tool is something that is not made by Soundz Baggers. It's made by Techno Research, okay? And there's a website for technoresearch.com.
Yes.
They make it. Obviously, Soundz Baggers sells it with their kit. But it's from Techno Research. And I open the thing and it comes in a case and I'm looking it over. Well, there's some instructions there and it's like, okay. And I'm glad I found out this because we were already behind today. This would have really effed us. So think about this kind of stuff, guys, when you're installing systems or if you're going to install this one. And it said right there, it goes, go to technoresearch.com, something like that. I think it's technoresearch.com /support. Hit our support tab. You need to download a program to do this, to flash the boombox system with this little magic thing, the scan tool. So I go and I'm like, first thing I see is we're all Mac around here. And this pisses me off because it's Windows only, which this day and age, that's just absolute horse shit. In fact, most things these days come out on Mac first. And then if they come out at the same time, or they usually come out for Mac first and then PC second. Some of these companies are really old. And so what did I do? I have one old piece of shit that's kind of like, all right, kind of like PCs are, whatever. I bought it for the boombox videos years ago, and I don't use PCs. We just don't have time for that around here. Time is money, but it was under my desk. So it took me literally, I called Lurch or I texted him. I'm like, hey, Lurch, do you have a PC? He's like, nope. I'm like, all right.
Why would I?
Yeah. Why would we have a PC? I go, shit. And so I get out this old Dell piece of crap that I bought for the boombox videos years ago. Cause I had to, have a PC for Navi extras and some long story, but I fired it up, booted up. It took and that's all the thing's ever been used for. And I try to keep it charged and it just is so slow. So anyways, I stressed last night. I finally, after an hour and a half, because the thing's so slow, I got on the Techno Research site. I downloaded it for Windows 7 through 10. I got the damn program installed. I'm stressing out with Lurch. I'm like, his wife has some Surface tablet or something.
Yeah, Surface Pro.
He's like, oh, bring that just in case. I go, does that have a USB connection? I'm like,
I don't even know if I know how to use it.
right. Yeah. But I'm like, bring it just as a backup. But I got it loaded. But that's something you need to know. If you're going to use this Techno Research scan, it's as of the time of this, it's very old school and their program is window based only. And, I shut that computer. I hope I never fucking look at a PC again for a long, long time. Yes.
So as we're talking about the Techno Research, I pulled up their website here, and the system that we have is called the Alaris, ALARIS,
yes,
for Harley-Davidson. And one of the questions we had...
Alaris?
I
don't know, dude. I'm just
Alaris. You called her the hell you want. ALARIS.
I just wanted to sound like I knew what I was talking about.
Alaris. One of the things we didn't know was, you're talking about this Soundz flash. Where the hell do we get this Soundz flash?
Oh, yeah.
Called the customer service, no answer, left a message, no return call. But because
they say in the amp when you flash it, you're supposed to use the Soundz flash, right, but nobody tells you where to get the fucking sound flash.
Yeah, where's that at?
Nowhere.
So what we learned is it's actually in the Alaris, and I'm looking on their website right now. So just as a reminder, with that Techno Research Alaris, it's set up to work with several different systems. Rockford Fosgate is one, Kicker, Hogtunes, Soundz, and J&M, and it says and more. So it's actually loaded with several different companies stuff, and you choose the one that you want. So we didn't know that until we plugged the thing in, and luckily it showed all the different options on the side of which ones you could choose. And we were guessing. But we'll dive in a little bit deeper when we get to the scan tool, but that's a good follow-up on that. We'll dive into kind of how that process went. As far as that goes. So talk about, in the interest of time, talk about where are we at? Let me look. Okay. Talk about the install in the Street Glide and just go with that a little bit. Pretty straightforward. We've done several installs. We kind of know what we're doing with, but everything was labeled and pretty easy to install. The amp on the Street Glide. Are you serious? I'll get to the one. Okay. Oh, I thought. Okay. That's all right. Yeah. All right. I mean, pretty straightforward. The rest of it, our video will show you. Of course, we've done a lot of systems exactly how to do it, but
Yeah. We had some frustrations.
Sure. I'll get to it.
All right. Cheers.
Yeah. Are you going to let me talk, or you want to keep cutting me off?
I'd rather just keep cutting you off.
That's
it's
more
funner.
fun, isn't it? Yeah. So pretty straightforward. I mean, you've got the wiring harness that runs the power and the negative down to the battery. It hooks directly to the battery. So you got a ground, you got a positive.
Pull your tank, all that kind of stuff. We'll show you how to do all that. Yep.
Mm-hmm. And so then you connect that part, and then there's a remote power that you have to connect. And in the Street Glide and the Road Glide, they're in similar locations. They're in the, if you're looking at the front of the bike, if you're looking at the open fairing, it's on the upper left behind the voltmeters is where you'll find that remote power. So you have to connect your negative, your positive down to your battery, and then that remote power. And then like most amplifiers, you have to have some type of in and some type of out. And this is kind of where we got a little confused, because a lot of systems you plug in between the speakers. So you have to disconnect your speaker pods or your speakers and put the amp in line. And what confused us in this one, which it's actually a really slick setup, is just so different from some of the other systems that we've seen that it took us a little while to figure out.
Because there's no instructions.
And the instructions aren't great.
And yeah, the one YouTube video we found just passes right by it.
He just went right by it.
Yeah.
So on one side of the amp, you have the two inputs. You got an input rear and an input front.
Because you can do a rear system with this too if you guys want in your bags.
Yeah, and it's set up for actually 8 speakers altogether. If you had 2 amps, you could do 8 speakers. But you can do up to 4 with the setup that we have. But what it does is it uses everything's in the wiring harness, so it's kind of hard to figure out compared to the other systems we've done. But it's got, on the left side, it's got input for the speakers, which is coming out of the main harness. So there's a jumper that you use. Try and clean this up a little bit. There's a jumper that goes in line between the Harley harness and the Harley stereo. So you put a little jumper in between, and that jumper then gives you several other wires, inputs and outputs. Does that make sense? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Ins and outs.
And of course, our video, if you want to see it, it's all visual and it's explained very well. It's hard on a podcast sometimes.
It is difficult. I'm trying to paint a picture. But,
you're doing good. It's good enough for this.
So the jump is in that main harness that plugs in. You unhook the main wiring harness that goes into your
big ass wire
big
harness,
heavy one,
with a cage rocker thing that locks it. Yeah.
Everything's done in between those two, so it's a little bit different, and it took us a little while to figure out
because there's no instructions. I don't want to hack on that, but
there's really
seriously,
no good instructions.
It would have not been hard.
No diagram.
Yeah. It's easy now that we figured it out.
It is now, and it between two of us, we looked at it a little bit and figured it out. But you've got on the amp, you've got input for the front, input for the rear. On the other side of the amp, you've got the power, the ground, the remote power, and then you've got out. Front and out rear. Mm-hmm. So all we had to do is connect the inputs from the main harness that jumped between the boom and their wiring harness. Plug the input on one side, the output on the other, and ready to rock and roll. It seems simple as we're talking about it, but when you have...
Well, it seems simple to us, but you want to watch the video to see what we're talking about. We explain every little, why we're doing what we're doing, right? Yeah.
Because once you plug that main harness into the jumper, now you've got, on one side, you've got 2 wires that split off front and rear, and then you got another one that's got 4 split offs, with they're actually outputs, but they're front and rear, and then front and rear add-ons.
You've got add-ons, you got a bunch of dead-headed shit.
Then you've got one that goes off to what they call the DSP, which is a digital sound processor.
Thanks for talking about that. We didn't buy that with our kit. What's that?
So that is...
DSP.
It gives you the opportunity to get in and really start messing around.
You can nerd out
technical with the audio.
If you really want to dial it in and adjust it and tweak it and sit in your garage all night and for your kind of music, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we didn't get that. We didn't feel it was necessary.
Yep.
But
and then there's another jumper heading off it's an interface. And
we didn't use that for anything.
No, and ours had, because it had a jumper plugged into it.
Right.
So I don't know exactly what that's for. Maybe they use it for something when they're doing installations or
and the instructions don't tell you what that's for.
So
just leave it.
Yeah, it's a bit confusing because there's so many wires coming off of it. But once you get it all figured out, it's not too bad. And don't worry, Because if you buy our video, you can look at it, and it's pretty simple.
That's what we're here for, to stress all day to make it simple for you, because we were stressed for a while there.
It's
again, no instructions. Had they just given instructions that said what the wires and how to do it, but there's nothing.
No.
Nothing. It was insane.
And I'm going back to their little setup they made to install the GTS into the older bikes. Whoever comes up with this stuff, they're quite brilliant at what they're doing. It's a really slick way to do it. It's a little bit innovative and different than we've seen from other amplifier installs. So if you are a car audio guy or you've done systems, this one's going to be a little bit different than what you're used to.
Yeah. Well said.
It's cool. It's just, it's different.
We love learning. Once we got it figured out on our own, we were pretty stoked because it was a little bit different, and we get satisfaction out of figuring it out for you, putting on film and video in an instructional that you don't have to go through the stress we went through. And it looks like we just did it really easily, and we're going to show you how to do it really easily. So
hopefully our full day of work equals a half day of you installing.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah. Hey, Bikeaholic, searching for new and exciting motorcycle products? 3D has a production or products you dream about for your bike. I was thinking about something else. Check out their wide variety of innovative products for Harley-Davidson and Honda Goldwing motorcycles. 3D's got your back with chrome and black parts lighting and other comfort products. No modifying, cutting, grinding, or welding for an easy installation that equals less time installing, more time riding. 3D has a design team of riders with over 40 years experience with a passion for design and innovation. Gold Strike are the motorcycle LED lighting innovators for CAN bus plug-and-play system compatibility. They pride themselves on great customer service. Got a question? Get in touch with them. Sales at 3D.com. Give them a call, 715-808-0027. Check out your local Harley or Honda dealership and ask for Zero or Gold Strike parts. I like it a gold. A new leader has emerged. So check out 3D's custom line of Gold Strike products for the all-new Honda Goldwing. Better yet, help support us. Head on over to lawabidingbagger.com/store. Check out our full line of 3D products. Talking about CAN bus plug-and-play system compatibility. That's what the stereo system was. All plug-and-play. No soldering, no butt connecting, nothing like that. There's a couple connections, but they're already there, and you just click them into a regular plug, basically. That was really the only connections for power. Yeah,
they didn't have the main power wire and ground wire put into the power connector. I'm assuming so that you can run it and get it to where you want to get it. And then you just pop the leads are already onto the ends of the wire. You just got to push it into the connector, and then that way you can connect your two sides, your power, your ground, and your remote power.
Now, this system was different than all the others we've installed up to this point, and that is on the Street Glide, there was no amp plate, which means the amp didn't bolt down to the top plate above your Boom Box system. It Velcroed.
Yeah.
Which I know sounds weird, but I kind of like it.
I mean, today
it's all right
with 3M and as sticky as that stuff is, and it wasn't like a little piece of Velcro. It was a Velcro piece that was off. No, it was like it was the whole size of the amp. So it's like 4 inches by 8 inches, give or take. It was a huge piece of Velcro that was on the back of the amp, and then you just peel off the other side, the 3M, and stick it on top of your basically the top plate that holds your boombox in, and just Velcroed right on there.
Yep. And so,
on the
Street Glide, and it's going to work fine. And I actually like it because it's a lot simpler. It makes sense and it works, and it's a lot quicker to install. And now the speaker pods come off on, of course, we show you all this in detail, like all of our install videos. You got to pop your whole speaker pods off behind your fairing because you got to put the new speakers in. We'll show you how to do that. Once the new speaker's in, it comes with new grills. We got your back on that. Now there's some on the back of your speaker pod. There's like some ballistic vibration dampening. Explain that pads that come with it, Lurch.
Okay. They call it ballistic dampening foam, but it's, for anybody that's been around stereo stuff for any time, you've heard of Dynamat, which is just a adhesive that you stick on to your panels in your car or your motorcycle or whatever, and it just absorbs vibration. So with these more powerful speakers, you put that ballistic foam on there, sound dampening foam, and it just reduces vibration and improves sound. So like on my bike, when I installed my Harley-Davidson Boom Stage 2, it didn't come with that, but I ordered some Dynamat and I stuck it all over the speaker boxes and the inside of my shark nose fairing just to reduce vibration.
I got it on my bedroom walls on the inside, bro.
It's just like the foam you've got behind you. Right. I mean, it's just it's sound deadening, anti-vibration stuff. So
you didn't even hear that I had it on the inside of my bedroom walls, did you? You're ignoring me.
I'm ignoring you.
I didn't even get a smile, dude. I didn't even get a little smirk from you.
Well, nobody wants to hear you crying. I mean, so I appreciate that you put it on there, because anybody that walks in your house while that's going on,
hearing me getting whipped,
does not want to hear you go over there boo-hoo and
oink, oink, oink.
Yeah, buddy.
You don't want to hear the animal.
No.
Me making animal sounds. All right.
So back to the pod.
Oh, God.
On the Street Glide, they have you put it on the back of the pods, the speaker pods.
Oh, the ballistic foam
ballistic
shit.
Foam. Yeah. Now on the Road Glide, the
talk about the amp and the difference in speaker pods there. Clean both those up. The amp plate and then what we have to do to the speaker pods. Can you do that?
So on the Street Glide, we've already told you the amp just Velcros with
the
some
speakers fit in the pods perfect.
Yep, you pop off your speaker pods on there and you put the new ones in, put them back. You put your ballistic foam on the back of the speaker pods on the Street Glide. On the Road Glide, obviously there's no room to put the amp on top of the boom box. So it actually goes up underneath. And they have a mounting plate that you mount the amplifier to the plate, slide the plate into place, and there's 4 bolts that hold it in.
Very much like the stock Harley, not stock, but the boom.
The boom, just
audio
like
stage 1 or 2, yeah.
Yep. Now the difference in the pods, when you move over to the Road Glide, the pods are shaped differently
and come off.
Much
twice
easier.
As easy, 3 times as easy.
On the Road Glide, it's 5 bolts. You take them out, and the pod comes right off. Super easy on the Road Glide. The main difference is because of the size of these speakers and the magnets on them.
The huge magnets, enormous. Yeah.
When you put them into the speaker pods for the Road Glide, there's not enough clearance. They don't fit, and it's tiny. It's maybe 1/8 of an inch. And so you actually have to use a template that they give you, stick it onto the speaker pod and use a 2.5-inch hole saw and make basically a relief hole so that when you put the speaker in, it'll fit flush.
The box, the pod.
Put the speaker in the pod, it'll fit pod, flush.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And
it sticks out a little bit.
It sticks, well, yeah, it's almost flush with the pod.
Yeah, but just enough.
But the pod itself is in the way. I mean, seriously, it only needs about 1/8 of an inch. So you have to cut the hole saw is the best way to do it. It's about 2.5-inch hole. Now the difference in the ballistic foam between the Street Glide and the Road Glide. On the Road Glide, you put it on the inside of the fairing, opposite of where that hole is and where the magnet is, and the Road Glide fairing fits right up against the speaker pods in the Road Glide. So that foam that just set on the back of that, or the inside of the fairing, then will be over the top of that.
Just so it doesn't rattle and bang up against it, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep. As far as the wires,
sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. It was well explained. And of course, in the video, we'll show you how to do that like we do in all our videos, our install videos. Because although it hooks up the same, the wires and everything's just located just on a little bit as far as wiring, but we cover it, and we're gonna have a totally separate file just short to show it's 98% the same.
The biggest difference is where the amp mounts.
The amp mounts, yep, and the speaker cutout. You got to cut out the speakers and the way the pods come off. Other than that, and the speaker grills, but other than that, it's exactly, the install itself is exactly the same.
Yep.
So yeah. All right. Let's get down to, once we get everything installed. We get everything installed. And is there anything else about the install process that went besides just lack of instructions and us having to figure it all out? And
no, it was all, like you said, it was all plug and play, no cutting, no splicing, no butt connectors, all good quality wiring. Just the lack of instructions made it a little difficult until we figured it out. Nope, I think that's about it.
All right, real good. let's do this, and then we'll finish up.
Okay.
Because we're going to do.
We got to talk about.
We're going to do techno research scan tool process, and then the sound and our overall, our overall opinions of the sound. Why don't you do this, Lurchy?
Are you searching for the easiest and quickest detachable luggage system for your motorcycle? Rick Rack has just what you're looking for. Forget all those frustrating straps and bungee cords that can come loose and slap your paint. Check out one of Rick Rack's awesome quick attach strapless rack systems. This father and son team designed something really special that you can't find anywhere else. Yep, these guys ride, so they truly understand the needs of bikers. The Rick Rack quick attach system is strong, durable, and secure with a lockable system. Also, check out their full line of quality touring bags to accompany your quick attach system. Once you go Rick Rack, you'll never go back.
Rick Rack.
What are you waiting for, Bikeaholics? Head on over to Law Abiding Biker Store and check out our full line of Rick Rack systems and bags. lawabidingbiker.com/store.
Store. Yep. Awesome. Okay. So, so we got it all installed and got the bike back together. And it was time for let's talk about this real quick. One of the other things in the instructions we found wrong was one of the amp settings. So it tells you
call.
Yeah, talk about that.
One of the cool things about this amp and some of the other systems that are a little more technologically advanced is you have some fine-tuning settings. When I put the Stage 2 audio, boom audio into my Road Glide, there's no settings at all. You just plug the thing in, and the only real adjustments you have are in the boom box itself.
Your internal equalizer bass.
You can turn up your bass and your
after you flash it. Mm-hmm.
The cool thing about this one and some of the other ones we've done is this one has several different settings. So you can adjust the gain. So the signal coming in, you can turn it up, turn it down. Basically, you can set how hot the signal is, and so they tell you where to put it. They tell you at 9 a.m. But it's about 25% up on the gain dial. And then there is the crossover that you can adjust, and they have you set it at 70 hertz. So nothing below 70 hertz is going to go through the speakers. So it keeps that really deep bass out of those speakers. Because these speakers are, if you were in a car audio, this speaker would be considered a mid-range speaker. It is for vocals. It's for guitar, maybe a little kick drum. And then they've also got a separate tweeter in there for the highs. So it's basically a mid-range and high. It's not really a low, bass type speaker. So if you're trying to push that type of low signal through that speaker, it's going to distort. It's going to sound like shit. So they set it at 70 hertz so you don't get that low bass going through there. Then you can set it for 2-channel and 4-channel. One of the things that we did find odd.
Blatantly, the instructions we did find said it wrong.
It didn't make sense to me, but at the time, and we're looking at it, and it said there's the how the amp turns on. I'm trying to think of the word, but
how it powers on.
How it powers on.
It wants you to tell it. Like, how are you hooked up?
Yeah, exactly. So it can be voice activated, Vox. It can be DC, which would be direct current, meaning right to the battery.
Which it's always on. Even if you turn your bike off, it would always be hooked to power. You probably have a toggle switch. Remember, we used to do that in our old cars where you could toggle the system off, right? Don't you think that would be direct DC?
Yeah. There'd
be no switch power.
There'd be some type of switch on that main power.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Yeah, but not on our bikes. I mean, we were right to the battery, so it's hot. Mm-hmm. And the other one's a remote REM remote. And so, as I mentioned earlier, when we hooked up to the bike, we put the positive to the battery terminal, the negative to the battery terminal, and then you used a accessory port for your
off our
power,
bike.
Off the bike.
It basically just tells the bike or the amp when you turn your ignition on, it says, hey, go ahead and let power through. Because we're already hooked to the battery. It's just an accessory, like when you turn things on, it just tells it, okay,
it's a remote
you can turn
switch.
on, okay, turn off now. Yeah, remote switch. Yep.
So if that remote switch is not hooked up and you try to turn it on, the amp's not going to turn on.
Mm-hmm.
It's a way to power it on and off. It's an on and off switch. And so in the instructions, it had said to set it to DC.
Mm-hmm.
So we did that and we put it in the bike. I went, nothing's working here. And so we had some discussion back and forth, like, did we test it after this?
Mm-hmm.
And so we took it back out, switched it to remote power, the switch on the amp, and then put it back on and work just fine.
Yep, just like that. We worked through it, figured it out from our experience, and their instructions blatantly, we both looked at it, said DC. And somebody would do that and not get sound. And then they would be calling support and not get a call back.
Yeah.
For a couple of days probably.
And it just depends. So this is
it's a universal setup.
That amp is a universal setup for, if you have the digital sound processor, then there's
DSP,
some different settings. And so.
And DSP, it had some different settings if it was on the DSP. Yeah. Yep. So again, these are universal and you just kind of got to work through it. Systems, we found that some extra hardware that we didn't really need or use.
Yeah, they gave you some screws and some E-clips that maybe that you might use if you're putting into a car, but obviously wouldn't fit into a
door panel or something.
Door panel,
yeah.
It's strange, but again, not knocking it, because the cool thing about all these settings are you can dial it in where this amp setup, you can crank your volume all the way and it will not distort. Unlike my Boom Stage 2,
the Harley one,
that amp is, I think, a little too powerful for those speakers. I would actually like to be able to go in and turn the gain down a little bit and adjust it and have a filter and turn it down.
So it was cleaner at higher volumes?
So it's cleaner at higher volume. The Boom's super loud, but it would be nice to have some fine-tuning capability. So if you're an audio geek, this is a good system.
And get the DSP.
Yeah,
if you're a real nerd, if you're Squid, if you're Squid, he's an audio dude, and you would want to get the DSP with it.
Yeah, because then you can really fine tune it. But even with the settings that it has on the amp, that's cool too, because you can keep them from why I can't crank mine to full volume on that Stage 2, the audio Boom Stage 2 is it distorts, it overdrives the speakers.
Right.
This won't overdrive them because they've got it matched as far as power, but also you've got the crossover and all that kind of stuff.
It's got it matched with what's coming out of the boom box with that amp and what's going out of that amp into the speaker, so it won't overpower them.
Yeah.
Basically, they've done the testing.
Very clean sound. So those are all the settings that are on the amp.
Yep. And so we'll just tell you a little bit about some of our testing with it. So we got it all hooked up, got it figured out, got the bikes buttoned back up for the most part. Now
had to flash it.
Yeah. Time to flash it. So this is the flash process. I've already talked about it a little bit. This is with the Techno Research Scan tool. So the night before, I already told you I got the software loaded. It actually finally got it on the PC. So we got the PC out there. Zero instructions on both Techno Research website where they told us to go, and where on the Soundz Bagger audio website. Zero. And I mean, we looked. Zero videos, zero PDF. So I put in a call into support. Here was my question. And they still haven't called me back. Now, it is a Saturday, okay? But I said, the only thing their instructions said is that when you flash it, make sure you use the Soundz Bagger audio flash. We're like,
where do you get that at?
The fuck's the flash? Okay. So
where do you find that?
Here's what we're stuck with. We're stuck with the Techno Research Scan tool, software on a piece of shit laptop that I pulled out and dusted off, and no instructions on how we do this or where we get it. And so we were a little bit like, okay, well, let's just start doing some shit. Now, there are some instructions on the inside of the Techno Research that Lurch found on the inside of the case, at least get you started. But that's it. And it still doesn't tell you how to do it or what the software is going to look like or what you're supposed to do. So basically it's a little tiny black box, the Alaris, a little tiny black box, and it comes with a diagnostic plug. Now, under the left side of your bike, under that little cover on the side of your bike where you pull your main fuse, that's where your diagnostic port is. That's where they hook it up. Harley dealerships with Digital Technician 2. You can get into your ECM, into your boom box, all that kind of stuff. It has that plug. Then that plug has a specific plug that plugs into the little black magic box. We'll call it the Alaris. And then from there, you have a USB interface, and you plug in USB and you plug in USB to your laptop. So now it's basically tethered to your bike. And so we fired up the software, plugged everything in. Once you get it to that point, it started giving us some
Give us some audio
cues,
cues that something was working.
Yep.
That was connecting or at least recognizing.
We both went, huh?
Oh, what's that?
Did you hear that? We were excited because we have nothing to go on here. And zero help from either company. And so it kind of tells you what do you select accept in English, whatever language you want to do. And then remind me if I'm wrong, but on the side of the thing, it told us at that point, and it's all in our video. We recorded all this as we worked through it, but it basically told us to, it told us in the instructions, hook the USB up, and then did it say turn the bike on? Turn switch on, make sure the switch or something, or was that the software? Turn
to ignition. No, it was the sticker inside the box said turn on the ignition and make sure the run was on. Hook it up, turn the ignition on, run, and then you go into the so there's two different buttons on that
direct
software.
link.
Direct link and Centurion. So you got to pick the Centurion.
And it tells you on the inside of the case, pick Centurion. Because we were looking at the software going, which one do we pick?
Yeah.
And you found that.
And then it had all these different flashes in there. So like I mentioned earlier, it's set up to work with Rockford Fosgate, Kicker, Hogtune, Soundz, J&M, and some other ones. So you go over on the right side of the program screen and pick Soundz, and then it only had one flash available, so you selected that flash.
Yeah, so some of the other ones I see have like separate, totally different. And what we're talking about, you can select like
how many amps,
2 channel, 1 amp, 4 speakers, 1 amp. Well, Soundz only has one, and it's an 8 speaker, 2 amp system.
It just turns everything on.
Even though that's what we know, they just turn the whole gamut on. That's really all you can select, and it works for them.
Yeah.
So we selected that Soundz and then the 8 channel setup because that's all you can select. And then I won't get into it, but it tells you to push this speaker button, and there's no speaker button. It's not labeled. And I go, I think this is it, Lurch. And we pushed it. And
it had like a target.
It did have a little speaker on the very bottom. It had a little green speaker.
A target, and like an arrow.
A finger.
A finger. This was like a finger, a target, and a speaker.
And it wasn't the middle finger.
No, it was not.
But it's, the speaker something. Again, guys, that's what I'm saying. There's zero. Our video, now that we're recorded, is going to be gold because you will not go through what we went through guessing. And we hit that, and it goes through a cycle, and you can hear the boombox eventually turn on and off. And then it tells you to, for 13 seconds, exactly.
Turn off the bike
at least 13 seconds. Turn it off. We turn it off, turn it back on, and then hit OK and accept, and bam, it said pass. And there's a big, huge thing that says pass, and we knew that at that point it had been flashed. Again, record it all. If it sounds complicated, it won't be once you watch our video because you won't have to go through what we went through.
Yeah, video's worth 1,000 words, right? Or pictures worth 1,000 words. A video's worth 1,000,000, I would imagine.
Yeah.
So we're trying to paint a picture, and it might sound confusing, but when you watch a video, walk you right through it. Easy peasy.
Yep. Easy peasy.
Lemon squeezy.
Yep, exactly. So we got that all flushed. We were stoked. We were actually pretty excited about that because we just did something from scratch that we had no instructions on, and it actually worked. So I think we were both a little bit surprised that we muddled through that with the two of us. But we usually muddle through things. Just it's always good to have two heads working on this stuff. All right, so that's we're going to wind it down here. But the fun part was
then we got to turn it on and listen to it.
Yeah, buddy. We pulled it out of the shop. Now, we had a decimal meter on hand. We've never had one before. When we did the Rockford Fosgate, the gentleman that let us do that, the patron member, he had one.
Yeah.
And so for this one, and I have it on hand now, I bought a decibel meter from Amazon. I'll put the link in the show notes, lawabidingbiker.com/whatever episode number this is. It's an affiliate link, but it was $19.99. So we're just going to have it on hand now because it is nice to have a decibel meter because we can, all the different systems we do, we can test them between each other. And it kind of gives an idea of what the output is. And so we had that on hand, and we took it outside. And going back just a little bit, I want to tell you that we've told you some negative stuff just with the instructions and kind of the way things work and the lack of the scan tool stuff. But we said up front, the build quality was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So I expected the sound quality to be pretty good too. And what say you, Lurch, once we fired it up and crank this system up? Give your opinion of it, and then I'll give anything that I want to add.
I found it to be very clear and clean. They've got it dialed in to where the amp does not overdrive the speakers, so it doesn't distort. The crossover, limiting the bass to nothing under 70 hertz, does not distort the speakers. You can crank the thing to full volume all the way up as far as your bike will let it go, and it's clear and clean, and it's loud.
It is.
Yeah, it's a good system. It's right up there. I think my two favorites. I have the Boom, which is good. Don't get me wrong; it was easy because you just click everything together. I, as a bit of an audio nerd myself, not quite like Squid is, but I like the ability to kind of mess around with it a little bit. So I do like the fact that you can adjust it so that it's super loud and super clean. I think it's right there. Them and J&M are probably my two favorites as far as quality and sound.
Nice.
Yeah, it's tough. I couldn't tell you one or the other. I think they're both really good.
Yeah. Nice. I listened to this thing, and to me, first thing I said to Lurch, it sounds like the Rockford Fosgate. And let me tell you more.
Yeah.
The reason I say that is these systems, where the J&M is a little bit different, in my opinion. I'm not an audio expert by any stretch of the imagination. It's just a common man and my ear and what I listen to. And I've been running the J&M for like 3 years now. The XX Rocker, I think is what it's called. Extreme.
XX Rocker Extreme.
Rocker Extreme.
XXR.
Yeah, Rocker XXR, front amp and speakers. The Soundz Baggers is very much, I think if you blindfolded me and put those bikes, having heard both of them next to each other, I wouldn't know which was which. And here's what I mean. Both those systems, and even Rockford actually brags about that, is a motorcycle system is rather different than a car system in this way. It's hard to just take a car speaker and throw it in a bike and run it with the same settings, because you can get more mids and more bass maybe out of a speaker like this. The reason you maybe don't want to do that on a motorcycle, and you correct, Matt knows a lot more about audio, but I think he knows what I'm going for. The reason you don't want to do that on a motorcycle is because it's a different environment. You aren't in an enclosure.
Right.
And when you're doing 80 miles an hour down the freeway, if you do too much mids and basses, they get lost and you're not going to hear them. The more mids and highs you have that are very crisp and clean, you're going to be able to hear over that wind noise. So a lot of these systems like the Rockford, and in my opinion now the Soundz Baggers, that's what they're going for. They're going for, hey, you can roll our system at 80 miles an hour down the freeway at full blast. It's going to be crisp, it's going to be clear, and you're going to hear the words to the song. Where if you get too many lows and mids, it's going to get muffled in the mix. With that said, I'll tell you that my J&M, even though it's a bit bassier than both of those systems, it does have some lowers and mids. I still hear it okay, no problem at freeway speeds, and I've been very happy with it. Now, with that said, I'll say that definitely as far as crispiness and the sounds and the lyrics and the words and those upper frequencies, definitely Rockford Fosgate, and now the Soundz Baggers, definitely. They're just punchy, but you're just not going to get a lot of lows. If you're looking for a lot of lows on a bike, you're probably looking in the wrong place, because you really need subwoofers and different things. You're not in a car. And so you have to, a lot of guys I want a stereo system with a lot of bass on your bike. Well, then you're not going to hear it.
Nope.
Unless you're just going to go park in a parking lot.
The only way you get that is with a subwoofer. And
right.
You can't put a subwoofer in a bike unless, well, yes, you can. I mean, you can put a subwoofer in a Chop Tour pack or something like that. But
did what I say make any sense at all?
Yeah, pretty much.
Did I totally muff something that's not true?
No, you were using mids quite a bit, but so you want mids and highs on a bike,
which is what
lows.
This is, right?
Yeah, you don't want the lows.
It's a mid, and then it's got a tweeter, so it's a mids and highs, right?
Yeah, you'd mentioned mids and lows, and then you said mids and highs. So
right.
This system is really good at the mids and the highs. It doesn't have a lot of the lows.
Not a lot.
No. But
clean.
But that could be part of the speaker that we have as well. So the speaker that we have is Iron 61, which is it's a two-way and not a separate two. They're not separate, so it's all one speaker. Whereas, like my bike, with the Boom Stage 2, the mid and the high are truly separate speakers.
Yep.
So
separate wires, separate speakers.
Wires, separate speakers. Now, in all fairness to Soundz, they make the same thing. So you can go up to the 65 or the Carbon, and then you have it's not a subwoofer, it's a mid-range woofer, but you got a woofer and you got a separate tweeter.
Okay.
Completely. So I wonder if you would have, if this gentleman would have bought the 65 or the Carbon, if he would have got a little more bass sound out of it.
Right.
But with this system,
which again
that we have is a 61, it's the mids and highs, as you said very well. When you're going down the road, you're not in enclosed. It's not going to reverberate. Bass vibrates and reverberates. So when you're on a bike going 80 miles down the road, even if you have the bass, you're not really going to experience it much because you're going to have any real bass is going to be in a good sized speaker, which is going to be behind you anyways.
Right, you're losing it all.
You're not putting a subwoofer in your fairing, so you're going to lose it. You're going to be outrunning that bass anyways. There's no point. You're not going to hear it with the wind noise and everything. They're making a good, clean mid and high with this system that you'll hear 90 miles down the road, no big deal.
Yep.
So they're focusing on the audio frequencies you need to have on a bike.
Well said. Thanks for cleaning that up. That's exactly what I meant. What Lurch said. But yeah, no, it is. And that's what some of these companies are focusing on and others aren't. And, there's the bag speakers too. And then we're going to wrap this up.
Even those are not, those aren't woofers. Those are like 5x7s.
And when you're doing 70 on the freeway, they're behind you. Like you said, you're losing all that. Really, those are for show bikes. And if you have them, that's cool. Or if you want them, I get it. Definitely in town.
Other people will hear it.
Oh,
you may not hear a whole lot of it.
In town,
the guy riding behind you will hear it. Or if you're just cruising down the road.
In town, low speed, stopping in intersections. Sure. They have their place. But yeah, if you're touring cross country, the bag speakers in the back, I mean, they're kind of just useless, for that. They take up a lot of space. Again, not against them. I know a lot of you out there probably have them. It just depends on what kind of riding you do and really what you're looking for. There's so many. A lot of it's so subjective. So what we gave you is the install some objective stuff, but what we gave you on our experience. But do I recommend this system? Absolutely. From what I've dealt with it, had we not do an install video for you guys, I would caution you on getting it because it would frustrate a lot of you on the lack of instructions and what you're supposed to do and a scan tool. But with the video, if you're interested in the system, I 100% recommend it. I think you'd be happy with it. I think it's clean. I think you would be very happy with the quality. I think it's going to last a long time. I haven't heard from anybody that they're going bad after a certain amount of years or something, but you'll definitely, and I'm not just telling you that, you definitely would want to get the video. We have a lot of installs under our belt, and it was still a few things now that seem obvious to us that we've worked through them, but that will help you not be stressed during the install. What say you, Lurch?
Yeah, I would just say to Soundz, if you're listening, think about the average guy in his garage that's installing this, not a professional installation guy, and provide a little bit more detailed instructions, perhaps some more pictures. And I know that Techno Research is not your company. You're just selling their tool to help flash the bike. But since they don't have a whole lot of information, you might want to consider it too.
That'd be a pretty easy PDF they could put on that page on what we did. Yeah. And just a few screenshots, right? Of this is what it's going to look like, and this is what you're going to do.
It would take just a little bit more explanation to make it easier for the average guy in his garage. Now, with that said, our video is going to make it easier for you. It's right there. It's one of the top ones that I've heard. The quality is outstanding, and the sound is outstanding. And I would say it's right there at the top of all of them. It's a good system, and if you get your hands on it, you'll be happy with it.
Well said on that bombshell. Oh, we love our patron members. We want to get to know you guys better. Want to get you in the private Facebook group, live video broadcast and chat, all that kind of stuff. But hey, if the only way you can support us is through a flat donation, we never balk at a flat donation. We love our flat donations. And Clinton Havens of Lemoore, California, substantial donation. Michael Lizik of Yorba Linda, California. And he says, keep up the great work and stay safe. And Martin Gavrilla of Waco, Texas, lawabidingbiker.com/donate. We appreciate it. It helps put a little fuel in the law-abiding biker gas tank so we can keep this thing
running on down the road.
There you go. Thanks, Lurch. Long day. We're on 14 hours now, and been up since early this morning. This is because we all work full-time jobs, paying jobs, and do this on the side. We got to crank it in. Full film day, 2 podcasts, a lot of debacles, a lot of laughs, a lot of fun, a lot of taunting each other.
Yeah.
We're like brothers when we work in the shop. It's hilarious. I do that with Oscar too.
Oh, yeah.
It's just fun. Nothing's ever taken personal. We put our heads together and we get frustrated together and then we get happy together. And it's a great time. There's like zero stress, even though it sounds like stressful. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we talk about that. It's like we just do what we do and we know what we need to get done and we bounce ideas, and sometimes we don't believe each other and then we believe each other, and and then sometimes we listen instead of talk, and it's just great.
And I've learned that your small hands fit into tighter spaces than my big hands. So
that's what she said.
When I'm in there trying to get a screw in and it's frustrating me and I want to get it in, I learned just to step back and hand it to you and let you put it in there.
I'll put the video camera or the video camera down for a bit, and it's true. Yeah. It's true. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out with us. We hope this was informational.
And
we hope it was entertaining. We hope it was
infotaining.
Nice,
I haven't
bro.
broke that one out in a while.
Taking it back, bro. Taking it back. What shall we do here? Call to action. Oh, yeah, you got to have this. That's right. We took him on our Sturgis trip recently, guys. And, of course, our Grand Canyon trip the year before. You got to have it. It's a must-have in your saddlebags. That's get hooked up with the Cruise Tools RTH3 Roll-Up Travel Toolkit for Harley-Davidson and American-made V-twin motorcycles. We also have them for the Indian motorcycles, all over in the Law Abiding Biker store. Why get stranded and have your bike towed over a small repair, guys? This quality-made toolkit has everything you need for a roadside emergency repair. Yes, we've done quite a few in our documentary films, emergency roadside repairs. Tested and used right here by the Law Abiding Biker crew. Yep, has our stamp of approval. That's right. Get it already. That's the Cruise Tool RTH3 kit or our emergency kit for Indians. We brought it right to the Law Abiding Biker store for you. There you go. Nothing but 5-star reviews. Big Daddy Kane and Grunt, who run the Law Abiding Biker store, have them in stock, ready to ship to you right now. All right. Thanks, patron members. And again, we're going to go out, but you're getting this months before everybody else as our continued thank you for your continued support.